Hello one and all, this is Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again with another video game first impressions. This time around, Yakuza Kiwami 2 for the PlayStation 4. Here we are, 1 year following the release of Yakuza Kiwami, which was a full-blown remake of the original Yakuza game featuring the Yakuza 0 engine. Here we are now, only a few months after the release of Yakuza 6, with the remake of arguably the greatest game in the franchise until Yakuza 0 came into fruition, and that is Yakuza 2. Unlike Kiwami, Yakuza Kiwami 2 uses Yakuza 6's engine to power this brave new world that has been re-imaged. For gamers who were unable to experience it the first time around on the PlayStation 2. But just like Kiwami, just like Yakuza 2 in its original form, Yakuza Kiwami 2 is rooted in this idea, this presentation, from a gameplay perspective of it being a 3D brawler. You can go around the towns. Unlike the first one, you're not just stuck in Combat Ultra, where you can take on several types of enemies, be it random street thugs or individuals that you want to recruit to be a part of your Tojo clan. The fact of the matter is, if you played Yakuza 6 or even the previous Yakuza games, jumping back into this, jumping into the gameplay, it's just like riding a bicycle. You never forget how to ride, you never forget how to play a Yakuza game. For those who haven't, it's based around, as I said, a 3D brawler atmosphere. As Kiryu, you can go around punching, kicking, performing heat actions or finishing moves. You can throw opponents, you can beat people with weapons. Really, you can do a lot of things that you could in previous games, but most importantly, what you couldn't in Yakuza 6. Even though it uses the same engine, it expands upon what was available to the player, what was available to Kiryu. Because of it being a new engine, there were certain limitations in Yakuza 6 that wasn't in the previous games, and now is in Kiwami 2 as well. In reality, Kiwami 2 is the Yakuza 6 engine, the new Dragon engine, reaching its potential. One of the main reasons why Yakuza 2 is held in such high regard by Yakuza fans is the fact that the narrative is arguably the best in the series, maybe even more so than Yakuza 0 and Yakuza 6 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1. Definitely better than Dead Souls, mainly because of the antagonist. Now, this game happens 1 year after the events of the original Yakuza story, or Yakuza Kiwami story, and as it progresses, you get introduced very early to Ryuji Goda, who is arguably the greatest antagonist in the series' history, because he is rooted in the exact same mentality when it comes to battle, when it comes to fighting, as Kiryu. He wants to be the true dragon of all, not just of the underworld, not just of crime, not just of a certain town, of all. He wants to be considered the dragon, the most powerful man in all the world. And the way it motivates him, and eventually motivates Kiryu, is absolutely phenomenal. I know this as a person who's played the original Yakuza 2 version, but what I'm excited about the most is the same treatment that Kiwami got, in that Kiwami 2 features more sub-stories, more side quests, more mini-games, and most importantly, more storytelling. There are also things that were exclusive to Yakuza 6 that return here as well, that weren't a part of the original experience, including clan creator. All in all, Yakuza Kiwami 2 lives up to the standard that has been set so high by the previous not only entries in the series, but also the recent remake, like Kiwami, where they give you the game in its barest form and fills it out with excellent additions, stuff to add to the story, gameplay modifications, better graphics, and more minigames than you can shake a stick at. If you played the previous Yakuza games and enjoyed them, hands down you will love this. If you haven't, I say maybe wait. Go back, play the original Kiwami, or even go back and play Zero. And that way you can really get a grasp of the world, the gameplay, and even more importantly, the lore of the Yakuza franchise. If you do, you will experience it and enjoy it a lot more, especially when you start seeing references to characters from previous Yakuza games and understand exactly what they meant to the lives of Kiryu and his friends and his enemies. So there you have it. This has been Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, with another video game first impressions. Yakuza Kiwami 2 for the PlayStation 4. Now, if you don't mind, I have some art to make, because Kiryu has been found to be quite possibly the greatest upcoming model in the history of the world. And when the world sees what types of pictures have not only been taken of Kiryu, but the person who has taken them, they will shout to the heavens themselves, "Oh Lordy!"